What's up, nerds? It's your boy MattCat83, and I am back, you guys, and I'm going to be doing a review today because we are diving into the Man of Steel's latest big screen adventure, Superman, directed by the one and only James Gunn. So buckle up because this movie is a wild ride and beautifully chaotic. And I'm here to break it all down with the geek what style that I have and the energy that you know and love. Now, James Gunn said that he made Guardians of the Galaxy for his love of cinema. And Superman is born from his love of comics, which he says helped him learn to read dating back to when he began looking at the pictures at age 3. And I have to just tell you right now, comic books helped me learn how to read also. I wasn't the best reader and it got me into the love of reading. So I will always have an affinity for comic books. So let's dive into this movie. Here we go. So nerds, this isn't your regular Superman, but it's got that heart, that hope, and that comic book soul that makes the character timeless. Now, James Gunn, the guy that brought us Guardians of the Galaxy and the Suicide Squad, has taken the DCU's first big swing, and spoiler alert, it's a home run in my opinion. Now, this movie's got action, hard humor, and a fresh take on the last son of Krypton that had me geeking out from start to finish. But before we dive into the good stuff, let's address some of the controversies that surround this movie. All right, let's talk about some of these controversies, okay? Because, you know, the internet was buzzing like a hive of angry bees, and some fans were skeptical about David Cornsweet replacing Henry Cavill. Now, how dare they recast the DCEU Superman? Now, don't get me wrong. I love Henry Cavill. I really do. I support him 100%. And he's a little hottie patati. But Cornsweet shuts the noise down with a performance that is equal parts charming and heroic. Now, there was the whole guns making Superman too goofy vibe from the early leaks that we got to see with, you know, Crypto and the Justice Gang stealing the spotlight or whatnot. But trust me, nerds, this isn't Guardians with capes. I think Gunn balances the humor with real stakes. And don't get me started on the too many character complaints that we always get and everything. Yeah, there's a lot of heroes, but I think they all serve the story. And, you know, haters gonna hate, but this movie just has the goods, in my opinion, to back it up. Now, a lot of people before the movie came out were worried that this movie was going to be woke. Now, let me just tell you right now, this movie is not woke at all, in my opinion. And I think a lot of people agree with that. And then, of course, you had this asshole Mark Milken from Variety pulling this bullshit.
Superman is an immigrant story, that it is political. MAGA today was getting a little upset that he called Superman an immigrant. I wanted to get your reaction. Your brother talked about Superman being an immigrant, and now MAGA is already upset that he's called Superman an immigrant. I wanted to get your reaction. You said it's an immigrant story. It's a political movie. MAGA today is going nuts. What do you have to say to MAGA?
So he set those people up with that question. Mark Milken has a problem with doing this. I personally don't care for Mark Milken from Variety, and if I was an actor and I got him on the red carpet, I would just skip him. Or if he asked me a dumb question like that nonsense, I just like, Mark, what are you trying to do here? Like, Mark, you raspy voice motherfucker, get the hell out of my face. Don't come at me with your dumb questions. Oh, what a total dickhole. Variety, fire him. I would. He is a problem. He's not a solution. And he always asks the dumbest, even when it's not a loaded question like that, it's always a dumb fucking question. He's just the worst. Now, there's also the parallels in the war in this, and we'll talk about that when we talk about the plot and other things. But there's the war that people want to between Bakovia and Jaharahar, but they want to compare it to whether, you know, either it's Russia and Ukraine or Palestine and Israel. I didn't see that in here, and if you got that from this, it's because you were looking for it. You know, when I went in, I just looked at it was two made-up countries that are, you know, fighting or whatnot. One's trying to invade, but, you know, get over yourself. Let's break down this story, okay? So 30 years ago, baby Kal-El crash landed on Earth after Krypton went kaboom, raised by the Kents in Smallville. Now, as Clark Kent, he is juggling his life as a Daily Planet reporter and the world's greatest superhero, Superman, who's been saving the day for 3 years. He's got Lois Lane on his arm, Jimmy Olsen as his buddy, and a new crew called the Justice Gang, which is Green Lantern, Hawkgirl, and Mr. Terrific, backing him up. The plot kicks into high gear when Superman stops a shady invasion by Barovia, a U.S. ally, only to get his butt handed to him by a mysterious hammer-up Barovia. Spoiler alert, it's Ultraman, a Superman clone, which I'll talk about that in a little bit also. Now, Lex Luthor, the bald genius we love to hate, is pulling the strings using drones to control Ultraman and stirring up trouble. Now, when Luthor steals a Kryptonian message from Superman's Fortress of Solitude and broadcasts it to the world, it reveals Jor-El and Lara urging Kal-El to conquer Earth. Talk about PR nightmare. And then Superman is locked up. Public opinion turns, and Luthor's got him in a pocket dimension with kryptonite, courtesy of Metamorpho. From there, it's a roller coaster of heroics, betrayals, and a black hole threatening Metropolis. And the finale is chef's kiss epic. And I hate that term. So I want to talk about something really quickly in this part of the program. The Jor-El and Lara urging Kal-El to take a harem of women to spread his Kryptonian seed. Gross. Don't disrespect my seed. And to conquer Earth and destroy anybody that stands in his way. I did not like this change to the lore. I thought it was not good. I didn't like it at all. I thought that James Gunn, this was a miss for James Gunn. Now, granted, I'm a fan of James Gunn. I've liked everything that he's done so far. But, changing this part of the lore to me was a misstep. I didn't like it, and I wish he wouldn't have done it. But he's already done it, so let's move forward. So, Superman. David Cornsweet is a revelation as Clark Kent, aka Superman. Now, he's got that Christopher Reeves charm, but with a modern edge, both of them Juilliard trained. And like the guy who's trying to be the best hero he can while still figuring out his place in the world. At 25, this Superman's established, but not perfect. I mean, he's in love, making friends, and wrestling with his Kryptonian roots. Cornsweet nails the quiet Clark moments at the Daily Planet and the commanding presence of Superman, especially with those hypnotic glasses, which is a nod to the comics that had me grinning. Now, personally, I did not like the glasses in the comic books and how it confused everybody on his identity. But in this movie, I don't know. I found it charming. I was like, it's stupid, but at the same time, and they said it wouldn't work forever. But it's stupid, but it was fun. I liked it. I thought it worked. Now, his fight scenes are brutal yet hopeful, and you feel his heart in every scene. Now, this is All-Star Superman vibes with a fresh twist, and I'm here for it. Speaking of All-Star Superman, James Gunn said that he got a lot of his inspiration from All-Star Superman, and I have to be honest with you, I personally don't like All-Star Superman. It's been a couple of years since I've read it, but I didn't like it then, and I probably wouldn't like it now. There are some aspects from it that I do like, but overall, I just think it's trash. I really do think that Grant Morrison kind of missed the mark on that one. But, if you like it, to each their own. Rachel Brosnahan's Lois Lane is a firecracker. I mean, she's fiercely intelligent, feisty, and not just an arm candy for Clark. She's a modern reporter digging for truth. And I think that her reporting scenes were actually really great in this movie, and she kind of pushes the story forward. Her chemistry with Cornsweet is electric, and you believe she's skeptical about Clark, but falls hard when he sees his heart. I think her scenes with Jimmy chasing Luthor's schemes are pure gold, and they're some of my favorite scenes in the movie. Brosnahan, I think, makes Lois a partner, not a damsel, and I was cheering every time she outsmarted the bad guys. I mean, she was just great in this movie. Plus, she's got a great rack. Nicholas Hoult as Lex Luthor, perfection. He's obsessive, relentless, and terrifyingly smart, with a vibe that screams Steve Jobs meets All-Star Superman's cold genius. Now, Holt's Lex isn't just a villain, which I love that about. I want to talk about in just a second. He's a guy who is genuinely believes Superman's power is a threat to his vision of the world. And that's the thing that I love about this. I love my bad guy's bad, and he's a baddie all the way. I mean, his scenes manipulating the government and controlling Ultraman are chilling. And that shaved head of his is iconic. I mean, Holt makes Lex a credible threat, and you'll love hating him. I hate these movies where they take a bad guy and he's just misunderstood. No, Lex is a cunt. straight through. And it's all because he just doesn't like Superman and he's jealous of his superpowers. They didn't pick me, they picked Superman. So let him die. I mean, it was great. I love seeing that. And that scene where he shoots that vendor because Superman made, he made Superman a falafel for saving like his daughter or something. I can't remember. I only seen the movie once. I just, it was so vicious. It was so needlessly vicious that it made me love Lex Luthor, but hate him at the same time. You love to hate him kind of thing. And he was just great. I loved it. And I loved how he had set up those chess moves, like, when he was like A3 and it was like grab his cape and pull him back kind of thing. Or A1 was punching. It's like A1, A1, A1. It was great. And I loved that part of it. All right, so let's real quick talk about the Justice Gang, who wasn't in this movie very much. So first up is Green Lantern, aka Guy Gardner. Now, Nathan Fillion's Guy Gardner is a total jerk, and I mean that in the best way possible. He's fearless, overconfident, and rocking that iconic bowl cut. I thought it wouldn't work in this movie, the bowl cut, but I loved it. It was great. It worked. It did work. I mean, his Golden Girls like inspired quips had me cackling, but he's got a heart when it counts, like when he shows up in Kermpor at the end of the movie. It was just great, and I was happy about that. Isabella Marced's Hawkgirl, she's grumpy, badass, and carries the weight of her alien incarnation. I do feel like she used the Hawkgirl cry a little too much, and when she did use it, James Gunn like zoomed in on her face, and it didn't make her look good. I didn't like that. I thought it just didn't look good visually for me personally. And when she drops the president of Barovia, I didn't like that either. I don't like my heroes killing people willy-nilly and he's dead. Although the Barovian president, I'll tell you right now, every time he popped up on screen, I was like, God damn, you are ugly. Oh my God. You weren't hit with an ugly stick. You were hit with an ugly lumberyard, motherfucker. Oh my God. Mr. Terrific, paid by Eddie Gathagari. Sorry, I don't know how to say his name and I don't care. But he brings depths to this gadget-loving hero. I love that he believes in justice, and his arc with Lois to save Superman is straight up inspiring. I mean, that when they attack that makeshift base on the beach, it was great. I didn't care for the song that they played during it, but I still loved that, and it was just fantastic, and I really hope to see this character again. I was never a huge fan of this character in the comic books or in the Arrowverse, but here he's just great. So I hope to see him again, not in a movie. He really is a secondary character, but I do hope to see him. Later on in the future. Maybe they were talking about a TV series, and I think that would be the best place for him. Anthony Kerrigan's Metamorpho is a standout for me personally. I mean, he's an archaeologist turned elemental shifting superhero, and Kerrigan brings a real authenticity that make him relatable to Rex Mason. I mean, his journey from Luthor's pawn to Justice Gang hero is emotional, and his powers look insane on screen. That moment when his son Joey is saved is so, like, as a father, that part really spoke to me because he was doing Luthor's bidding, making kryptonite, which I called that a while ago, not to toot my own horn, but when he was working for Luthor just to keep his son, safe. Yeah, I totally understood that. And then later on, when they save him from the pocket zone and they're going into the woods and he's holding him, loved it. Corn Sweat pulls double duty here as Ultraman, which is a brainless Superman clone who's all muscle and menace. Now, the reveal that he's Luthor's puppet isn't really gut-wrenching for me personally, or a big surprise, because I saw it coming a mile away. First off, Ultraman is an alternate universe, Superman. To have him here, you really didn't get surprised. And when they showed up at the Fortress of Solitude and the engineers all like, how are you going to get in? And he's all like, don't worry about it. It's because he had Ultraman there and it was a clone of Superman. So it's like he had kryptonite DNA. We all knew it was coming if you read comic books. Now, Maria Gabriella as the engineer is edgy and fierce. Now, her nanotechnology powers setting her up for the Authority had both serious stakes and such a villain side, I really thought she did a great job, and kudos to Gunn for bringing, this actress, to people like me's attention, because I think she did such a great job, especially with a character that I know barely anything about. So I do hope to see her again, but I mean, like, the Authority is not really that big a deal. You know what I'm saying? All right, so I want to take a minute and talk to you guys about my personal favorite scene in the movie, and it was also my daughter's favorite scene. So my favorite scene is hands down is at the Kent farm. Now Superman's recovering from his escape from Luthor's pocket dimension, and we get this quiet, beautiful moment with Clark, Mom, Pa Kent. Now Pruitt Taylor, Vince, and Nevia Howell, they bring such a warmth as Jonathan and Martha Kent with their Kansas accents and hitting all the right nostalgic notes. And I just want to say that when the part that brought a tear to my eye personally is when Clark is sitting there and he's eating cereal out on the front lawn or whatever, and Pa Kent comes out and he puts his arm around his son and he just says, "I've never been more proud of you." And as a dad, there was just a tear, just one beautiful solid tear rolling down my face in the theater, because as a son, when your dad says he's proud of you, it's a great feeling. And then as a father, who has a son, I can't wait for the day when he does something that makes me so freaking proud that I'm just like, I'm so proud of you, boy. And I thought it was a great moment. It was also the scenes in there was also my daughter's favorite. I also liked the Kents because I loved how they didn't really know how to use the phone. And listen, as a millennial who has boomer parents, my parents and technology do not mix well. And so my mother's all the time like, on the phone, and I'll be like, "Mom, just do a screen record of your phone." And she's like, "I don't know how to do that. You're going to have to teach me the next time you come over." And I'm like, "Okay, fine. I'll show you how to do it." It's so funny. And then I also loved at the end when Clark's watching all his old home videos reflecting on his childhood, and it's just so human, and it grounds you then with this whole movie reminding us why Clark fights for Earth. And I just, it was great that he found solace in his human parents, the people that took him in. I really loved that part. So now I want to talk about the change to Superman's lore. Now, this is the biggest swing to the Kryptonian message twist. So Jor-El and Lara tell Clark to conquer Earth. Now it was a bold move, Cotton, and it flips the script on the Superman's origins. And it's not just about him being a hero. It's about him choosing to be one despite his heritage. Now, the hypnotic glasses nod is a fun comic book throwback, and Crypto, which I loved Crypto in here, being a not so good boy, molded after Gunn's own dog, Ozu, I think that's what he named him. Which adds like this chaotic charm. But I think that this was a swing and a miss in my personal opinion. I didn't like the change to his origin story. I didn't like the fact that Jor-El and Lara would tell their son, "Conquer Earth, take these people over." They're stupid. These stupid humans, they're so weak and dumb. Rule our son. I didn't like that change to the mythos, and I really wish James Gunn wouldn't have done it. But since they had, what are you gonna do? We gotta push forward now, and so be it. So now I want to talk about Easter eggs. Oh, nerds, the Easter eggs are treasure trove. Now we've got All-Star Superman nods with Clark's, posture and Lex genius and everything. A Lex Luthor Man of Steel vibe in Holt's performance. And even a cameo from Will Reeves as a news reporter. Talk about legacy, you know what I'm saying? John Cena's Peacemaker popping up on the news show mocking Superman had me howling. I can't wait for season 2 of Peacemaker. I really liked that a lot. We got Millie Elcott's drunk Kara Zor-El stealing Crypto away, and that sets up Supergirl perfectly. I did see a lot of people online being upset that she called Superman a bitch, but I have to just say, when it comes to family members, now I'm not that close with my cousins, but for instance, like my sister, she calls me bitch all the time. She'll be like, "Later, bitch," and I'll be like, "Later, bitch." So I didn't really see that as emasculating. And I call my friends and my brothers bitch all the time. I'll be like, whatever, suck it, bitch, and everything. So I just didn't really think that that was that big of a deal. Now, the Superman robots are from the comic books, which is fine. And we also got Lex's Raptor guards, but we also kind of got this white Martian, which was in the Pocket universe. I'm not quite sure if that was a white Martian, but they had mentioned the Martians before, right before that creature showed up. But I'm not quite sure what it is, but I'm just going to say it's a white Martian for now until I get a confirmation from it. So with all of this movie sets up the DCU, in my opinion. Millie Elcott's Supergirl cameo teases her 2016 solo film. The engineer's role hints at the Authority coming down the pipeline, maybe. I don't know. We've got Peacemaker's cameo, which ties into season 2, which is dropping soon in August. And then we got Maxwell Lord's Shady Lord Tech sponsorship, which screams future conflict, maybe. I don't know. We'll see. We've got the Justice Gang's new member, Metamorpho, who could pop up anywhere. And I'm betting we'll see more of Crypto's chaos. James Gunn is building a universe here, and I can't wait to see where it goes, moving forward. So Superman is James Gunn at his best. I mean, it has heart, humor, and a love for comic books that leaps off of the screen. David Cornsweet is the Man of Steel that we need. And Rachel Brosnahan's Lois is a queen. Nicholas Holt's Lex Luthor is a villain for the ages. And even Crypto is bringing some fun. Now, while the Kent Farm scene reminds us why Superman endures, the lore changes are bold but respectful, and the Easter eggs are a nerd's dreams. If you're a comic book fan, a movie buff, or just love a good story, this is a must-see. So I say go check it out in theaters. Let me know what your favorite scene is, who your favorite character is. But I appreciate you listening to my thoughts on this movie. It really was a good time. My kids had a great time. And the only negative going to the theater was A, it cost me a small fortune, and B, they were all out of those special buckets, popcorn buckets, or at least the theater I went to. Like, they had none. They had these generic ones that I was like, ugh, I don't want that. I don't want just a popcorn bucket with Superman slapped on the side of it. I want, well, the one I went to didn't have the Crypto ones, but they didn't even have the Daily Planet ones that I wanted. I was like, oh, that's such a bummer. But anyways, all right. Well, tell me what you guys thought. Go ahead and leave all your comments in that section down below. If you like this video, go and hit that like button. I won't mind. If you're new to my channel, please hit that subscribe button. I'd greatly appreciate it. And we'll see you guys on my next movie review for Truth, Justice, and the American Way. Bye.